Welcome to Math Plus, where math makes sense. Comparing decimals. Again, decimals are numbers, just like whole numbers. They just represent less than whole numbers. So any number, whether it's a fraction, a decimal, or a whole number, remember, you can do the same thing to all of them. In other words, you can add, subtract, multiply, and divide them, and you can compare them. So here are the steps. Let's review the steps for comparing. You align the decimals and compare digits starting on the left. Now, if you're working with whole numbers, you would align the place value, which is the same thing as aligning the decimals. And let me show you what I mean by that. If we have the number 23 and the number 234, most of you, just out of the knowledge in your head, knows that 23 is less than 234. And that's because the 2 here is only worth 20. Here it's worth 200. So a good way to compare them would be to line them up. 234 and then 23 would go here. Remember, and that's because the 3 is in the tens place and the 2 in 23 is in the tens place. Now, if you remember what we've learned so far about decimals, the decimal point goes beside the ones place. So you can add a decimal point to any whole number. So you can see it's also like lining up the decimal points. And then if you start looking at the first digit to the left, it says compare digits starting on the left. Right away, this has a 2. This doesn't have anything. It could be a 0, but it doesn't change that that's 23. So right away, you know that this number is bigger. So we do the same thing with decimals. And the way we know that we're lining up the place values correctly is by lining up the decimals. Then we can tell, is it greater than, is it less than, or equal? So let's try a few. So if we have the numbers 3 and 45 hundredths and 3 and 5 tenths, what I would do to compare those is first I would align the decimal points. That aligns my place value. Notice 3 is in the ones place for both of them. Here, the 4 is in the tenths place, and here the 5 is in the tenths place, and this 5 is in the hundredths place. So we have aligned our decimals, which aligns our place value. So we're comparing the same thing. We're comparing 3 ones to 3 ones. So now compare starting on the left. They're both 3. So right now they're equal. So we go to the next place value. We have 4 tenths and we have 5 tenths. Well, it's easy to see that 5 tenths is greater than 4 tenths. So 5 tenths would be greater. So we can stop right there, and then we would know that 3 and 45 hundredths is less than 3 and 5 tenths, because we know that 3 and 5 tenths is greater than 3 and 45 hundredths. Very simple. You're actually not doing anything different than you are when you compare whole numbers. When you compare whole numbers, you know to automatically line up the ones place and everything else will be in line. Well, when you're dealing with decimals, to be sure that you're lining the place values up, you just need to align the decimal point. Let's try another one. Here we have 0 and 72 hundredths, and we have 0 and 721 thousandths. Okay, again, we start at the far left. They both have zeros in the ones place. They both have 7s in the tenths place. They both have 2s in the hundredths place. So we have to go to the next one. Here's a 1 in the thousandths place. This doesn't have anything in the thousandths place. So we know that this number is greater. So you would write that like this. You can write it like that, or remember, you can put it the other way too. It really doesn't matter as long as you have the greater than sign pointing to the greater number. Remember, the open part shows that this is greater. Okay, let's try another one. Here we have 0.005 and 0.05. You can see how important it is to line up that decimal point. And as you start from left to right, you easily see that right here, this one has a 5. So that means that one is greater than 5. Lining up the decimal points is key. It's key. So here's a little bit larger number. So if we have 81 and 652 thousandths and 86 and 953 thousandths, we start from left and go to the right. They both have 8 in the tens place. This one has a 6 in the ones place. We can stop right there. We don't compare. It doesn't matter that the next digit is higher. It doesn't matter whether it's higher or lower. This gives us the answer right here. So we know that this number is greater than. Let's do a couple more because you have to pay attention to the digits and you only go from left to right. So this one is 43 and 950 thousandths and 43 and 468 thousandths. Again, we start at the left. The tens are the same. The ones are the same. Here is where they're different. Okay? The 9 is larger than the 4. So we automatically know that this is greater than. It's greater. Okay, one more really quick. Again, this is an easy concept if you just line everything up. And then we have 22 and 423. Now, notice here, if we start to the left, these are the same, these are the same, these are the same, and these are the same. The only one's different is right here. But since 8 is larger than 2, then that means that that's the greater number. So again, just line up the decimal points and look at the places starting on the left and move to the right.